All right, now let's go ahead and continue and add the text onto the movie poster. So first of all, I'm going to go over here to the toolbar, click on the foreground, and change that to white, and then click OK. Then I'll select the type tool. I'm going to click on the image, and let's type out the title of the movie, Occupants. All right, and if you look over at other movie posters, you'll notice that a lot of them are all caps, but they capitalize or they make that first letter larger than the rest of the word, and that helps it to make it look more like a main title compared to all the other text on the cover. And so there's an idea right there. I looked at a lot of movie posters before I started to create the ones for this DVD, and I picked up little tiny things like that along with a lot of other things, and I wanted to just go ahead and share those with you. So I'm going to go ahead and make the O on occupants a little bit larger. I'm going to grab the character palette, which is up here on the palette well, and I'm just going to increase the point size a little bit and just make that a little bit larger. If I click on the T right next to the drop-down menu right here, little icon, if I click, you'll see the little hand tool with a couple little arrows next to it. But if I click and drag either to the left or the right, I can resize that first letter. Look at that. And you can select individual letters or you can select the whole word. It doesn't really matter. But it's kind of a variable resize adjustment there. And it's kind of nice because you can see the difference on the fly as it's actually happening. So I'll go ahead and adjust that and then press enter as soon as I like it. And let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit closer. And I'll go ahead and put this character palette right back up on the palette well. Okay, so you can see that I've made that first letter larger, and I can just zoom out, and we want that title to be much larger, and hold down Shift and Alt, and that'll be Shift and Option on the Mac, and then I'll just come down to the corner, click on a corner, and move the mouse, and just basically make this text larger. So it'll fit across the poster a little bit better, just like this. And now because I've made that text larger, what I'm going to do is decrease the letter spacing. Okay? Because most of the time in typography, when we make the letters larger, then sometimes we need to decrease the letter spacing. Now, when letters are smaller, then we need to make the letter spacing, or we need to increase the letter spacing. So I'm going to come over here to the character palette and just bring that over here so we can see it. And right here, you'll find the tracking, and I can just increase that, or actually decrease it, sorry, down to -25. May even go just -10, so it's not too harsh there. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to create the, and select that, and we don't need it that big, so I'm just going to go ahead and just use the drop-down menu for the point size until I like it. And I'll set you see, and here's another typography technique right here, but you can see that by using the capital or the larger O here compared to the rest of the word, when we incorporate other words, it's easier now because we can set those words into little cozy corners. I'm just going to make that letter spacing on that just a little bit larger, because you can see, since it's a smaller word, that now we need to increase the letter spacing. So there's a tip right there. That's looking pretty good. And then I'll go ahead and just click down here and we'll add some more text. They are watching you. I'll press enter. And I'll double click on that type layer to select the entire type layer, and then I'll lower the point size down just a little bit. And I'll set this text all the way to the end. All the way to the end of the title of the movie. And it's a good idea to line things up. You can see that I'm lining that up right to the very end of that S. Because in design, you should always make sure something is aligned with something. Always. And so the more you do that, then the better your layout will look. And of course, we can add the stuff at the top. We can add some more text on the bottom. And if you see on the final poster here, we have some text down here on the side. And this is just one type layer, which is sort of like a little slogan, or not a slogan, but a little tagline for the movie, a little blurb or little hint text. The way to create that, I'll show you right now. Go ahead and select the type tool, and I'll show you how to create that text. I mean, and this is just typing. A lot of you guys already know how to create type in Photoshop, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you anyway. Let me grab the text from the other movie poster. Then what I'll do is click, and let's get that new type layer created there. And I'll go ahead and paste the text in. Now, to get that to get that line spacing, this is actually the leading, okay? And that is right here. If you hover the mouse over the icon here, it'll say set the leading. And leading, they call it leading because years ago, they actually used to use real lead in between the letters, or setting the type, they would actually use real lead. And so that's why they call it leading. And it's just, I guess, stuck the whole time. So that is how I got that line spacing there. Look at that. And I'll just go ahead and get the move tool. Regarding the alignment, you can see that to make sure that you're aligning the text with other objects and other text on the image, you can come up here to View and turn rulers on. Then what that'll allow you to do is to drag out a guide. So you have some sort of guide to use to make sure that everything is aligning properly. You see that? And then you can just go ahead and turn off the guides. Under Extras, you can just go to Show and uncheck the guides, and that'll make that go away. All right, so if you'd like to learn how to create movie credits, go to the movie credits video on this DVD, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'll teach you how to create a credit block that is seen on the bottom of almost every movie poster ever made. And there's a few steps involved in it, so I went ahead and created a separate tutorial, separate video just for that. And go ahead and check that out. And now you know how to create movie posters in Photoshop, and how to create some killer light beams coming out of the house there. So we'll see you guys on the next video.